herself not to swear on daytime telly. So we'll see how this goes. You will remember her as being one of the first stars of Hollyoaks in the 90s and for regularly being photographed out in the town with mates like Kate Moss. But in recent years, Davinia Taylor has moved away from celebrity to concentrate on health and well-being and has just released a new book looking at how hormones affect us all. Please welcome Davinia Taylor.
Before, and it's really nice to have an audience.
I can't believe you've got...
I know, and I have like literally watched this show religiously since it started. So I'm like, wow, it's real.
We're
I love it.
Honestly, we're really happy that you've come in. Now, I just want to talk to you about your hormone journey, because I sort of read that one of the first stages of you realising that you wanted to look at your hormones first was when you started having IVF.
Yes. So, roll back. How old is he? He's 16, going on 17.
Is he 16?
Yes,
oh
him.
My gosh.
And don't get me started. Anyway, so yeah, I had trouble conceiving. So we went on IVF, and I didn't think of anything. You just go ahead and do what the doctors say. Anyway, got pregnant, lovely son, but wow, did I hit a low? And nobody told me that IVF it's really common to get severe postnatal depression. And, of course, because you're messing with your hormones, aren't you?
Yeah.
Comes up, and then all of a sudden it drops out. And I didn't realise when you drop out on that oestrogen and progesterone, it brings down your confidence, self-esteem hormones. And my favourite hormone is dopamine, which I'm naturally quite low in. So I like to rev myself up. I like to get excited because I'm low on dopamine. And that ruins your self-worth because you just sit in fear because you've got this other hormone called cortisol just swimming around your head and you're on high alert for death.
So what sort of impact would you say just of day-to-day life for you and parenting and working? Could you notice that your energy levels were just incredibly low?
Well, that was actually... I was quite lucky because it sounds weird that I was lucky, but that phase in my life, I was, like, 27, and the only way I knew to boost my confidence was to drink white wine. And it... Seriously.
And you drank a lot of it,
I drank a lot of it. I mean, I'm not joking, but to the point where, I mean, I was a morning drinker because I was like this, and I didn't know what was happening. All I knew is that was the only thing that had stopped this dragging, this feeling of, like, death was imminent. The only thing I can like it to was when the oncologist told my mother she had, like, 6 months to live. It's that feeling, that feeling. But every 15 minutes of the day, that was what I was experiencing in postnatal depression. So I used to party, as you know, and so I just leaned into the one substance that pepped me up. It wasn't cigarettes or anything like that, it was white wine. And that led me into alcoholism, and then I got sober. And that meant, for me, that was one thing I could just tick off the list. Because alcohol's really bad for your hormones.
You haven't drunk for over 10 years now,
15, yeah.
15 years.
Yeah. But to be honest, it's not that difficult because the craving's not there. There's no white knuckling.
So you don't feel those cravings?
No, I don't. No, I'm complete because I now know I drank to boost my dopamine. I can do it in other ways now.
Okay.
I'm stuck in the 90s. I listen to house music, sometimes a bit of 80s music, and that energy, that noise can actually boost your hormones. And I've got, I take something called nootropics. It's sounds fandangled, but you know Silicon Valley? You know where they do all the code and all those clever guys? Well, they invented these smart drugs called nootropics that increase your brain capacity.
I need some of them.
Yes, I'll get you some. That's what you need. A few of them. And then it just increases your brain capacity.
But what we'll always sort of say about these sorts of things is these things don't work for everyone and everyone always has to do their own research.
I tell you a nootropic that does work for a lot of people, caffeine. It's the biggest nootropic going. You know, but some people get anxious with it. So I was talking to you, Sally, about it. There's a really nice... You know when you have a cup of tea and you go, there's an amino acid in there called L-theanine that gives you that calming down. So if you combine caffeine with L-theanine, you get a cool, calm energy, not a jittery one. And as soon as I discovered that, I'm like, I've got a brain.
But then again, and I will keep repeating it through this interview, is we always have to be mindful of the fact that these things don't work for everybody, and it is important that people do their own research.
Yeah, you've got to do an N of one sort of experiment. You know, dip your toe in, get advice from experts, and see what's out because there's so many things out there.
Yeah.
So, for example, I love running. I hate yoga. If someone tells me to... Actually, I've done yoga classes and come out more bad-tempered than when I went in. I'm like, how does that work out? Because I've got a different chemistry.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. And that's why I really like the work I'm doing is so you can find your little tribe and your little ride because, you know, we're all slightly different. You know, I'm clearly high energy. I am unbearable.
We love that.
I am unbearable to my husband. But it's, you know, it keeps me sober and it keeps me happy. I just want to be happy, you know.
How do you improve sleep then?
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm very lucky because that used to be a big challenge for me. And do you know what? So we all know about magnesium, right? But...
you say that, but a lot of people don't. So I was looking at... I had a reaction and I had swollen eyes. I posted up about it online a few months ago. And part of the treatment for me dealing with what's essentially was adult eczema was that I was never going into restful sleep. So actually they told me to start taking magnesium. And the change for me has been incredible. But once again, that worked for me. It doesn't necessarily work for everybody. But I guess the point for you is that we have to also look at things like our vitamin levels and things like that. That has a massive impact, doesn't it?
Yeah, because I have... I sort of... Strangely enough, I really lean into fat as a fuel, not carbohydrates. So, I mean, we've just been told low fat, low fat, low fat. And actually, your brain runs on fat as a preferred energy source. So in my morning coffee, I'll put, like, some powder in that's a blend of, like, coconut oil and grass-fed butter, and it just tastes like a cappuccino. But that combination, it's like a keto powder. That combination actually gives your brain a different fuel source to glucose that you get from cereal or bread or whatever. And straight away, as soon as you get these, it's called ketones, it's a different energy, and it hits your liver, gets into your blood system, shoots up to your brain within 15 minutes, and you have a consistent energy. So instead of me looking for snacks all the time, getting distracted, looking for picky, because I'm always an addict, you know, I'm always an addict. It calms me down and I could just get on with my day without being distracted.
And I think it's important, isn't it, to find what works for you, because, as you say, you're in a much better place now than you were before. And so it's important for everyone to sort of look at what can make their life healthier and to sleep more, because that has an impact throughout our daily lives, doesn't it? Well, ladies and gentlemen, Davinia Taylor. Thank you.